How are we doing?
Hey, how's it going? Good, good. Thanks for bringing me back.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you on, Zach. We've got a bunch of questions just to go through with you today,
Okay.
some which are going to be more appealing to other realtors, some just for people looking to buy and sell a home, and hopefully we can learn a little bit more about you at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So, what are some of the ways that you make yourself stand out as a realtor and attract potential clients?
A lot of that is my background, um, in the skills I have from, my previous work and careers. So the knowledge I've got from both property management and construction management, my clients really find that to be appealing. That's a big selling point for them because a lot of them don't know what to look for when they're looking at houses. Um, so it's a leg up where it can sort of save them some hassle and give them additional insight about things they have no idea. So folks really like that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, what are some effective ways to promote properties and get the attention of interested buyers?
Some of that's just like what we're doing here right now. I mean, pretty much everything is online now. The days of print media and radio ads and things like that are not really relevant anymore. Everybody has, for the most part, access to the internet, and social media has got to be one of the most successful ways of promoting, a property that's for sale. People love looking at houses online, even if they have no interest in buying. They're just so eager to see what people are doing in their homes and what the styles are, even if it's crazy. Like, I don't know if you follow the account Zillow Gone Wild, but it promotes listings on there that are just exactly that. They're just
Yeah.
crazy houses that they find on Zillow. People love it. It's just addicting. This is
Mm.
why people watch HGTV, as boring as it may seem to watch, somebody show a house, but people love it.
Yeah, they're very interested in the novelty of it. Have you
Yeah.
ever sold or tried to sell like a home like that had a really strange story behind it, or it was just like a completely unique property?
I've definitely had unique properties, but not for the purposes of what you find on Zillow Gone Wild. They were just weird houses. Um,
Hmm.
and
Like, for
that's when you try to
instance?
sell a house, you try to get away from that. But like these houses
Hmm.
were just weird, like a
Hmm.
kitchen tucked away with no wall, with no windows, rather, like where you have to take steps to go down to the kitchen, which leads out to the back of the house. Like just weird things that nobody really would even like. Um,
Yeah. How the hell
so
would you sell a
unfortunately, those are
house?
hard sells, but yeah, you just
Yeah,
gotta price it attractively,
I
um,
suppose.
or find that one person who likes that sort of weird thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. This is just something that's come to me that people might be interested in. Do you have any like maybe not horror stories, but like crazy stories with some of the clients you've worked with in the past?
I mean, they're I wouldn't say horror stories or anything like that. You know, there's certain most of my clients are great.
Mm.
Actually, I'd say all of them are great. Um,
True.
there
True,
are
actually.
occasions where you run into folks who are just not realistic, and that can become a horror story.
Mm.
And I've ultimately had to, part ways with those folks. But the the one thing that's always kind of is like showing properties that are like vacant or distressed properties. Not a horror story, but you come in there and it's like the place is trashed. There's spray paint. There's like water damage, and you find like people living there. Like they're just as surprised you're there as you are.
Right,
And
right,
it's like, all right, back up, retreat.
yeah.
I'd say that's usually as wild as it gets for the most part. Um,
Okay,
I'm glad to say
fair
there's
enough.
not many horror stories in 12 years. I'm glad.
I I think you'd choose your clients wisely, or maybe you just attract the right kind of people. Because I've spoken to some realtors and they have like some wild stories, but I don't know how they find themselves in those situations.
No, thankfully I've avoided most of that, but a
Mm.
lot of that is through prepping people of what to expect and what their job is in the process.
Uh, Absolutely, this is it. You were just doing your job.
Yeah.
So, what negotiation techniques have worked well for you in getting favorable deals for your clients?
Some of it is just simply having worked with the agent before, which is not really a technique, but having good rapport with the agent on the other side of the transaction can be really beneficial because they know you can get the job done. Um, Otherwise, it's just simply understanding how to craft a winning offer given where the current market is and making the client aware of what it takes to get into a property and what the downside of not doing that will be. Um, so a lot of it is saying, hey, we know this house has problems with X, Y, and Z. Be prepared to spend this to fix that. But nonetheless, this is what it's going to take to get in this property and making sure that they have a clear expectation of what they're going to get and how they do that. So why am I removing this contingency? It's
Mm.
really just making people understand before they do something instead of saying, hey, you need to get rid of this. I go, okay, guys, if we want to be competitive, this is what you need to do, um, because the market's been so competitive. Now if it's a property that's been on the market a while, we can do much more um, to craft an offer that's favorable for the client. But at the end of the day, real estate is dealing with a lot of egos, and people get an idea of a number in their head, and time is really the factor that's going to play into whether somebody will eventually accept an offer that's lower than what they've mentally prepared themselves for. So making sure that people understand the psychological element, that's a really big, huge factor in negotiating. Um, Sometimes it's just not showing your hand. Um, but with investors, it's different than from an owner occupant because one's emotion based, the other one is numbers based. So totally different tactics for the two.
Hmm. Is real estate a little bit like chess?
A little bit. I mean, some people are like, don't show them how much you're really pre approved for. And it's like, well, that's not really going to show your hand. Like, you don't have to pay that just because you got pre approved for it. But yeah, you don't necessarily want to put all the chips on the table. Sometimes you're waiting for the next contingency to come in and say, man, I hope the appraisal is low. We have the appraisal contingency. I think we're paying too much. Like, let's hope we can, negotiate the sales price down because of a low appraisal. I mean, not that anybody wants to deal with that, but yeah, there's always a little bit of that, and saying,
A
hey,
lot that goes into it.
not trying to lead on that you know as much as you do in some instances, assuming it's not
Okay.
something detrimental to your client.
Interesting. Interesting. What advice would you give to a real estate agent who was just starting off in their journey?
The most important thing is finding a mentor. Real estate is, for as much as you can earn and be successful and be independent, there's no real training to become a realtor. Getting licensed is super easy, a little too easy. Um, and so I think it's vital to have a mentor who can guide you through your first few deals, kind of be a sounding board for, any issues you may be running into with clients. You really just don't know what you don't know. And there's so much to know in any given real estate transaction. So get a mentor. That's You might be like, well, man, I got to split some of my commission. Yeah, you may not make any commission without a mentor. Um,
Hmm.
so it's best to be don't be penny wise, dollar foolish on that one.
Mentors
And then
certainly
otherwise,
so handy.
Yeah. And otherwise, I would just say be willing to learn. I mean, be prepared that you're not likely going to be selling much in the first 6 months. Unless you've got a list of people who are like been waiting for you to get licensed. You know, a deal is at least 90 days out. Um, so you got to be patient and try to learn as much as you can. Don't try to become a jack of all trades and a master of none. I guess, right? Um, So really get to learn, try a little bit of everything to figure out what you like doing, because our business is so much based on meeting people, right? Or lead generation. So find out what you like, find out what you're good at. Once you find those things out, focus on those. Don't try to be good at what you're not. I honestly don't think it's worth the time. For me, I found I wasn't having success in doing open houses, and I'd rather spend my weekend with my family. And so I let other people hold open my listings, and they have better success, but I can, be more efficient and less time doing other things and kind of evaluate your priorities. And so it takes a little time to get to that point, but you got to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are.
Absolutely, absolutely. I suppose if you've got a family, it's quite difficult. You can't just give up your whole weekend because not only is it just bad for your family, but it's going to make you unproductive because you're going to be miserable, and that's going to carry on into work as well. And it's like a flywheel.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
So much of success in business hinges on happiness in your personal life. So it's
Hmm.
part of my goals are related to just doing things with my family and for myself, because business and real estate is like 24/7. So you've got to find a good balance there.
One of the things my mentor always says, since we're on the topic of mentor, is usually you don't have problems in your business, it's problems in your personal life that are showing up in your business. And I just
Yeah,
thought that was very, very true. It's all intertwined.
absolutely. Becomes a very tight ball.
Mm. Absolutely. So you don't get your clients through open houses. I don't think you do door knocking, do you?
No, no door knocking, no cold
No door
calling,
knocking.
not putting ads in the
How do you?
newspaper.
Yeah, okay. What
Most,
are some of the
pretty
ways
much
you
all my
find your
business.
clients?
What's
Hmm.
that?
What are some of the ways
Yeah.
that you find your clients?
Well, truthfully, I mean, my business is pretty much all referral. So clients who, have folks they know, friends, family looking to buy, and that there's already that established rapport and trust. And so like their friends are already going, well, our realtor was great. We had this happen and it was, he took care of it. And it makes it so much easier, right? When you've already got that built in versus, hey, got your info online, saw your, thinking about selling your house. It's just a much longer play.
Hmm.
And they don't know you. They got to get to know who you are. And so I love referrals. It's the bread and butter of my business, as it is for many agents, but I'm constantly looking to grow it. Right now, I am farming my neighborhood, um, because I've been in the neighborhood for a year and a half. I know a lot of neighbors, but I want to be the neighborhood realtor. And I want to do that through authenticity and through contribution. So um, that's going to take some time, but I'm not moving. And I know that there's a lot of potential there for me to meet new neighbors and really establish myself and add value. And that's the most important thing, is adding value.
Absolutely. Have you thought about putting on like community events, like something like a garage sale or like I don't know if you do this in America, but we call them car boot sales. So you drive your car to a field and you just like go and sell a bunch of stuff. Do you
We
have
do
that?
not call them car boot sales.
No, I don't think
We
so.
do have garage sales, but everything is around these parts is straight out of the garage. There's just not enough fields to drive to for that. Um,
Oh, everything's a field in the UK.
yeah, no, there's fields here like at the park or at a school, and pretty sure they get chased off by the superintendent for the building if I drove on there trying to take things out of my boot. Um,
Definitely, definitely. So what are some of the ways you want to build that community and become the neighborhood realtor?
so right now, I mean, I am sending out mailers. I actually just started a listserv because I wanted to have something that's a bit more hyper local that pertains to our specific neighborhood versus a larger area, where it's there's apps out there where people can use them to kind of put stuff for sale and do this and that, but like it's miles of radius. So hyper local, um, doing that. I'm also focusing on trying to create some events in the neighborhood. We don't have like a citizens association or anything like that. I don't necessarily want to create one, but I want to work on, like right now, I'm trying to plan a barbecue for the neighborhood. I have to rework that a little bit, but put on some events where folks are of all ages are going to want to come out. Like there's no hard sell. It's just a good way to meet people, um, and create camaraderie and community. Um, that's the biggest thing. Like community is huge. Uh, and within my client base, I'm always trying to create community. Like we put on events, um,
Hmm.
and so it's really an effective way of creating your brand, being authentic, giving value, you know, going from becoming their realtor to becoming their friend, right? And that's the most important thing. Like I want to be my client's friend. Um, and so continuing to do more events. I'm going to do probably, maybe we'll do like a happy hour or some sort of toy swap, things like that. There's certainly room for more events coming down the line here. And I think as we continue to build up the listserv and have that online community, take that online community and put it in person, will be huge.
The list serve? What's
So
that?
it's basically it's an email distribution list, if that makes sense. And so
Okay.
people in there can say, "Hey, I have an old swing set my kids aren't using anymore. Looking to give it away. Anybody want to pick it up?" Right?
Oh, nice,
Or,
nice.
"Hey, I need a contractor to build a new deck. Do you have any recommendations?" Or, "I need an electrician." Or, "Hey, has anybody dealt with this experience before? How did you handle it?" Whatever it may be. So
So it's
instead
like
of
a
going to
private email.
Google and yeah, it's private. Instead of going to Google, you're tapping your neighbors for local resources, folks who've maybe gone through similar situations as you have, and so
Hmm.
it's trusted, and that's essentially what I want to be is trusted, and this is a good way to start that.
Sweet. Awesome. When I was at film school, we would like cast actors in our films,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the ways that we would like want to develop the relationship with them was by like going and playing bowling or like table tennis and like going for a meal together before we just sit down and get to work. And that sounds kind of similar to what you like to do with your clients. So instead of just cutting the crap and getting down to the brass tacks, you're like
Yep.
developing a relationship with them because I found when we did that with our actors, it just made the whole experience more endurable. So when we got onto set, it was like we're friends, we know each other, we're gonna work better together. Uh, and yeah, I can see
You can let your
how
guard down.
valuable that.
Yeah.
And you get the best
Yeah.
out of people that way. They trust you
Yeah.
more.
They're comfortable with you. And they can be
That's
vulnerable.
great,
That's
man.
that's the big thing.
Oh hell yeah. I mean, if you're an actor, you gotta be able to feel vulnerable, especially in certain scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we spoke about this a little bit just now with the role that you think technology and data analytics play in the future of real estate.
Yep.
Do you think the what you're doing with the list serve and this community work, do you think technology is going to have big impact on that?
Absolutely. Especially as artificial intelligence AI continues to get smarter and better. It'll help to target those markets as well and those individuals. Um, but everything now in real estate is technology based. I mean, whenever real estate companies try to court you, they're always talking about their technology. Um,
Hmm.
and truthfully, the technology is only as good as the individual who knows how to use it. So if you don't know how to use it, it doesn't matter. But it's all continuing to improve, targeting people more efficiently. So you're getting less of what you don't like and more of what you do. And that's the key, filtering out the noise. And if we can do that, we can keep your attention longer. And the longer we keep your
Hmm.
attention, the more likely we're going to make something come of it. Um, and so
Gotcha.
that's the end game, is just simplifying and creating more ease. Um, and I think there's so much that's yet to be developed, especially from a consumer perspective, as people are buying or selling, to make the process even simpler. But the technology is just going to continue to get better and better. Um, because we have to remember, at the end of the day, we're dealing with people, and people have to understand it. It's got to be compassionate. It's got to be empathetic to what their situation is. And so it has to be able to cater to what their needs and wants are. And it's only going to get
Yeah.
smarter and better and do things more efficiently with less resistance. So I can't wait to see how that changes over the next few years.
I think with AI and technology, that's only going to make your job as a realtor better and more fun and able to do less of the stuff you don't like and more of the actual connecting with people and making sure that's a good experience for them. It seems like that'll be a really positive thing, but do you think there's any drawbacks of the advancement of technology and AI within the real estate industry?
I think the thing to be cautious of is you can't let it take over your business, because it's still a very personal business. So, I think you use it to cut out hours of your day for processes, but like as far as like your day-to-day communication and providing a personal customized experience, that's still going to be on you, the agent. Um, the AI stuff is really going to be on the back end. And at the end of the day, you can't replace a relationship and the communication you have with people with anything. Um, right now people pick up when AI is doing something. Like the way it communicates is just not, it's artificial, as the name is. So you have to have that personal touch. I don't, agents are never going to be fully replaced. There's certain things that we do that can be, but that that personal touch will not be.
I remember when I was really obsessed with AI, like it was nearly like 5 years ago. Like I always knew it was going to be massive. I read this book about the kind of jobs we'll have in the future and the ones that will still be like viable for people to do, and all of them are people-based jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So being a realtor is definitely one of those. So if I was a real estate agent, I would not be worried about AI taking my job at all. I'm
Yeah,
glad that I started doing this podcast and sort of making my life revolve around talking to people, because you might be able to get like an AI copy of me and my voice, but there's
yeah,
no way it would be able to connect with people on the same level and speak in my. Well, there probably is with ChatGPT, but we'll see. I think I'm okay for now.
Yeah. For now, everything's good, but
for
it's
now.
what's up in here. You can't really replicate that through anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to be yourself or you'll be replaced. I think that's it. If you're living someone else's life or trying to be someone that isn't you, then AI will replace you.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
somebody using AI. You won't be replaced by AI. You'll be replaced by someone using AI, and that's why it's so important to understand it and work with it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'd be left behind.
Exactly. So this is one for realtors in particular. Why do you think it's important to have a strong network of professionals in the real estate industry, and how do you build and maintain those connections?
So I think it's really so I think it's really important to know who your colleagues are, especially as a new agent. Go out and meet new agents, right? Like go to happy hours within the real estate community. There's YPN, Young Professional Network, but there's through your realtor association. Go to brokers opens, meet the other agents, right? Learn from them. A lot of people really do want to help you, even if they don't outright say, "Hey, I want to help you," right? Like pick their brain, right?
Hmm.
People have been in this business 20, 30, 40 years, some of them even longer. Get to know them, take the recommendations. Hey, I got a great lender, if you're new. Um, Sit down for coffee or lunch with the lender, find out about their products, what they offer, how they communicate. Um, you don't have to be the first to find somebody. Don't invent the wheel. I mean, the greatest form of flattery is just copying somebody. And that's all we're doing is basically copying somebody and taking it and making it our own. And so you create this network or this team of folks that you're going to work with and that you trust to get your deals done and to keep your clients happy. And that just grows, right? Like you're going to always have people that you might replace or swap out, but it's all about establishing a rapport with those folks, knowing what they have to offer and how that can benefit folks that you're helping. And it goes beyond real estate in itself because so much of what we do, we're selling houses to make them homes. And once you move into a home, hey, I need my air conditioning unit serviced. I need a painter. Oh, hey, who do you use for estate planning or taxes and things like that? So we build these networks of individuals that we meet over time. And the idea is, hey, we're helping them, we're giving them business, but at the end of the day, we know that the person who's going to benefit the most is our clients who now have these great valuable resources that are helping to, put them in a better position and hopefully, protect them, you know, uh, with, what they have to offer. Um, so um, that's something that, you grow over
Listen,
time. Doesn't happen immediately, but get to know other people and businesses across the board as well as at real estate.
so it's about thinking about that long-term potential of working with these people and the long-term potential of how that can serve your clients after you've sold the home and that aftercare as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's
Nice.
the bulk of the work is up front, but they're always going to keep coming back if you treat them right, and that's
Mm.
what you want. You want to be able to provide
That's how
them
you
the
get those
resources.
referrals. Mm.
Yeah,
And repeat business referrals if they are ever looking to buy a second home or move out or sell, they're going to think of you. They're not going to just
yeah,
be the guy they worked with one time to build their first home and then forget about you. Hopefully, they want to keep coming back to you because you're the realtor guy. Like, why would they go anywhere else?
yeah. They're going to say, "Hey, meet my friend Zach, who's our realtor." They're not going to say, "Hey, meet our realtor," right? It's
Yeah,
relational. It's not transactional. You've got to be in it for the long
perfect.
haul.
I love that. So just final question we'll end on for today. What advice do you have for realtors to help them maintain a healthy work-life balance and sort of prevent burnout?
Well, I think it's really important to set goals. one for the year and then breaking those down, whether it be by quarter or, hey, this week I'm going to do this. But I think those goals have to incorporate personal items as well. So that hey, I'm going to be working, 60 hours a week, but, you know, every week I'm, for, a couple hours, I'm going to go work out, or I'm going to go hit golf balls, or I'm going to go see a concert. Like, it can't just all be work. And so the most important thing is focusing on taking care of yourself. We know that our business is stressful, and we know stress is not good for your body. So really need to be conscientious of that and make sure, you know, eating well, getting enough rest, all the things your doctor would tell you. I mean, it's true. I mean, I get enough sleep now, but I don't necessarily eat that
Mm.
great. I'm like having like trail mix between showings, like instead of eating meals. And so
Uh,
you need
Trail
to
mix ain't
plan.
that bad.
It's not unless I mean if you only eat the M and M's in it. But but it's really important
Gotcha.
to plan things out. Make sure you have goals and include personal time in those.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Makes sense. It's like what you were saying earlier about you decided not to do open homes because you wanted to spend that time with your family. You gotta,
Mhm.
if you're gonna survive in this business, you gotta figure out a way to make it work for you. And that's gonna be different
Yeah,
for everybody.
yeah. There's the proverbial question: what's the why? What are you doing this for?
Mm.
And so,
Mm.
if you're doing this because, oh, I want to get rich, like maybe. I mean, that wouldn't be my reason, and I don't know how that's going to work out. But you want to do it because, hey, I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this to help out the community. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. I mean, whatever it is, but all that gets incorporated into that, and at the same time, you got to recharge for that why, because you're not going to give your best, work or best self if you're not doing other things as well. As much as you love real estate, you have to, have other passions as well and have more dimensions than that.
Sweet man. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. I'm gonna
Thank
just
you for
end the
having me again.
recording
I
there, but
enjoyed it.
yeah, no, no problem. Don't go yet. I'm just gonna end the recording. But yeah,
Yeah.
I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening.